I want to be a mile deep and an inch wide in property management.
Got
And
it.
doing that has allowed me to like really stay focused on, I'm property management focused, because you can get lost, and you see a lot of people in real estate. They can be really successful or just getting started, and they still can get lost with, we offer everything in real estate. Well,
Right.
there's a lot of plates that are spinning there.
This is another episode of Big Talk About Small Business.
What'd you think about that one, Brian? Was that-
Everyone is different. I've listened to a few, and everyone, you guys got a little, it's not like you're just default playing the
No,
sound.
that's
No.
not scripted.
No way.
No, God,
We could do that, though. I could
no,
save
no,
time, but it wouldn't be...
It's another episode of Big Talk About Small Business. That's
I'm going to fall asleep.
This has been brought to you today by... Oh, we don't have a sponsor.
dadgummit.
What is wrong? I mean, our
don't-
numbers keep going up.
I don't know.
They should be beating down
They
our
should
door.
be. They should be.
Anyway, hey, today in the studio, we've got Brian Clark with us,
Yes, we do.
who I just learned had been in my house years and years ago with one of my older daughters when I guess he was a college student then. When did you graduate, Brian?
2012.
Oh, yeah, he was, definitely.
Yeah.
Shoot, he was probably like a sophomore or something. Freshman, maybe, because I got rid of that house in 09.
I'll be a sophomore.
10, maybe.
Mark, I've been to your house a lot of times, too, when you're not there.
What are you talking about? Good Lord. Anyway, so I knew Brian looked familiar to me. He's a big, Eric tells me you're a big fan of the show.
Yeah, I listen to it quite a bit.
Do you?
So, yeah, it's been, especially driving around. I'm in the car a lot. I'm like, man, tired of listening to the same music. Could use my brain to maybe get smarter. So,
Well, I'm not sure this is the place. But we appreciate that nevertheless.
Yeah.
Maybe you can resonate with us about when we complain about things continuously in the episode.
that's when the I got to get out of the car, and then I get back in the car and Spotify kicks it to the next episode. So it's like I get to listen to like a lot of episodes, but that's
Yeah.
okay. If I really like one, I go back. But
Hey, as long as you let that keep playing so our numbers look better.
that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever.
Wow, man. I mean, they
Just
listen
keep
to the whole
it going.
Yeah.
Turn it down, but just keep it running.
Yeah.
No, Brian. Brian is an interesting background. I know you got your degree from U of A in finance, and then you went out and worked in corporate America.
Yep.
And you've had several businesses, I guess, since then. One recently started. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I look back and I kind of, real estate's my passion, and that's what I've been anchored to, and really got to learn real estate from a local company at Lindsay for about a decade, and really where I got to learn like, okay, I like what this is, get to learn kind of all phases of real estate, got to learn the leasing side, the management side, the selling of a home side, and really kind of got to see, okay, I really like this management stuff, and did that for a good minute, and then I just took a wild turn, and Walmart, I was able to get in with Walmart, and got to be an associate buyer up there for a couple of years, and I call that retail boot camp because
Yeah.
I thought I was successful in real estate before I got to Walmart, but learning how to work hard and work at a different pace and get into the details, sense of urgency, report to a lot of people, like taught me more than I ever thought I would
It's
be
good
able
stuff.
to do.
Yeah, people need that. That sense of urgency.
Yeah.
So funny. We just had this discussion this morning, my wife and I.
Yeah.
And it was about somebody I sent an email to yesterday in one of the companies I'm with. And at 9:30, and then I heard back this morning. I'm like, that's not acceptable. I mean, seriously. But she goes, this person asked me what the person's background was. They never worked in corporate America.
Yeah.
They never worked in a real business.
Yeah.
They don't understand that that's part of what you got to do.
Yeah. And it goes a long way. And so halfway through when I was at Walmart, I'm like,
Yeah.
if I can do this, I take this type of work ethic that I've learned that I can do, and Walmart kind of pushed it out of me. Like, I can go do real estate and I can do well.
Yep.
And that's pretty much kind of like the the starter per se of how I said, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then COVID came along, 2020, and said, okay, now it's time to 2021. Now it's time to just start it. And it was tough at first.
What did you start exactly? Tell us about the business. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with real estate, obviously.
Yeah. So when I was at Walmart, so I left Walmart, and then I realized, okay, I got to get back into real estate. And I guess that was 2020. It was 2021. I believe is when I really got back into it. And really, it was just like going to the basics. Like, okay, got to get a website. Got to make sure that everything's up to date with the state. And then just get out there, start networking, calling old people that knew that I was in real estate before, and really built my business off of networking and referrals.
So what services are we talking about? Were you selling?
Yeah, so just property management. So I said,
property management.
I'm gonna be. In fact, I stole this from Eric, and he's told me several times, and it's been something that I really tried to hang my hat on. Is I want to be a mile deep and an inch wide in property management.
Got it.
And doing that has allowed me to like really stay focused on. I'm property management focused, because you can get lost, and you see a lot of people in real estate. They can be really successful or just getting started, and they still can get lost with, we offer everything in real estate. Well, there's a lot of plates that are spinning there.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was asking.
So I've learned that, okay, if I focus really into property management, I'm going to refer out things that come, and I get referrals in as well. And then I stay focused on property management. And so that's really how I built and kind of got going from, picked up my first single family home from a buddy. He was like, hey, I don't want to manage it. I'm like, dude, I'll manage it. Kind of got my rhythm going. And then I'm like, okay, now I need to make sure I have a Google page. Now I need to make sure I have a website.
Yep.
And then really it was I kind of look back, because it's just a huge blessing. I just answer the phone, my work ethic with sense of urgency, and what I've learned at Walmart, even though retail does not correlate to real estate, but the work ethic does, and how
and the process.
Work.
Yeah.
And
the organization.
Funny things like I didn't really know how to work Excel and Outlook and all those before I went to Walmart. And then Walmart, that's pretty much, you have to know how to work those tools.
Sure.
So then leaving, and okay, I tried to make my tools work with Google. I was like, this isn't working. I had to pay a bunch of money and say, okay, I got to go back to Outlook, because that's how my brain works. And calendar, scheduling, going through numbers, and being able to talk to people, answer them. I mean, it's crazy. I've repeated 7 times. It's answering the phone and responding. A lot of times my first 10 clients were on a Friday at 3. Oh, well, I'm going to hire you because I've called 2 other property managers and nobody answered the phone.
Oh, it's so true.
And
I've had bad experience with most property managers. I've had good, and then I've had a lot of bad.
Yeah.
And there definitely is an opportunity for somebody that's good. And as you say, being responsive, it's just so critical.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say that like it's becoming more critical because, in all honesty, we have access to all this information.
Right.
AI, everything that's coming in. Yeah. Our patience is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And we expect, our level of expectation is extremely high.
Yeah. And I've taught my team, because now I'm trying to make sure that my team, because I bootstrapped it to, I figured I kind of bootstrapped my company to about 150 units. I was like, okay, I can do this. Well, after 150, I'm just going to go crazy if I keep doing it by myself. And so I teach my team all the time. We have a good team now. It's like, answer the phone, be responsive. Don't just send a text message. Don't just send an email. Do all 3.
Yeah.
And make sure you respond to all 3. And we can get lost in the tools of all the other stuff as we do.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we got to circle back to, well, if it's a really urgent and you send them a text and it's 2 hours gone by, you didn't hear from them, just call them. And
not everybody communicates the same way. That's what I always tell my students. You've got to find out like how some people want to call, some want to email, some want to text, some want to visit. I mean, you got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But
goes a long way.
That's awesome. So how many units are you managing now?
So we're about 260 units.
Okay.
And it's a good split between residential is about 50%. And then commercial and multifamily is about 50%.
Do you call, like, if you have a multifamily unit, I mean, is that one unit? Or?
So I call a multifamily a duplex or more.
Okay.
Right now, we have apartments as well.
So but you consider every one of those little,
every door is a unit.
Every door is
a unit. Okay. I also talk kind of in the commercial world. I talk more about square footage.
Right.
But yeah, I still think units. I have a door. I have an office over in Springdale. and there's like 20 doors. It's one building, but there's 20 doors that we can rent, so it's 20 units over there. And so commercial kind of changes it up. Single family is pretty much, you got one single family home, that's one unit. But I'm a little different. I've kind of gotten it's a funny feedback throughout the industry in residential, because you don't see a lot outside of this area. You don't see a lot of people doing residential and commercial.
Yeah.
And that might be something that I change one day. But I've really gotten involved in like the national, like just different organizations about property management and learning and working with those guys. And it's been interesting because, they're just focused on residential and not doing commercial. But I would not have the growth that I've had without saying, hey, I know I can do commercial. I enjoy that side of the business. I learned it, and
don't you think,
just love it. So
don't you think though, if the commercial's just less hassle, because people don't live there. The numbers are bigger. Like if I'm going to rent a space like this, I'd probably be paying $12,000 a month or something.
Correct.
So the numbers are bigger, or whatever it is, and then we don't live here.
Yeah.
So that makes things maybe less urgent. Yeah.
So my wife, I talk with her about real estate. She's learned a lot since she been married to me. It's like, I think there's less emotion, no matter whether it's selling or managing. There's less emotion in residential or in commercial versus residential. So I do, and that's why I enjoy it. But I've noticed it's tougher for me to teach commercial at the beginning. You have to already have a good understanding of real estate, because there's a lot more stuff. There's triple net leases.
Right.
There's modified gross. There's basic gross leases. And then you're dealing with repairs that are different. You're not just fixing, hey, just, call an AC guy and get it fixed. No, you might be dealing with a complex HVAC unit or a complex boiler or a complex elevator.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole nother ballgame of working through all that. But I've enjoyed it, and I think the numbers side attracts me, even though I don't think I'm like a number driven person, but the numbers of just like getting into the details and talking with people, business owners, I do enjoy. And that's why I'm like, man, I'm not going to give up the commercial aspect. And it's been a blessing that I've had it, because I would not have grown the way I've grown without both of them. So
tell our listeners a little bit about when you say property management services.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So I consider myself a third party property manager. So you own a house and you don't want to deal with the headache of dealing with the tenant, legal signing of leases, all that. You hire a third party property manager. We're going to make sure that we put a good tenant in there. If we have to kick a tenant out, unfortunately we can also do that. And then just working through the whole process, making sure that you get paid every month, you get a report every month, and then you're going to get inspection reports throughout the year, making sure your property is taken care of. And so that same mentality goes to commercial as well, whether it's single family, a warehouse, office space.
That's unusual.
Anything.
So you go out and you take a look and see what's going on at the property.
Yeah.
Report back. That's nice. I like that.
Yeah. So I've been, when I first started, I was like, that's kind of what I love to do. I was like, okay, I got 50 units, and okay, today I'm going to go spend all day in the field because I like being in the field. And it's like, but then as we've grown, it's like, okay, I can't be in the field 24/7, but we've gotten tools that we can go on our phones and put a report together and like say what's going on. Obviously we'll get tenant requests saying, hey, fix my, my leaking sink or whatever.
Sure.
And then, but sometimes like we've had one issue a while back where it was like a fireplace. Well, we had to go check it out, go check out what's going on, not just thank you and then move on. So,
do you do any repairs yourself, or do you like contract that out?
So up until a year ago, and that's probably the biggest, I would say it's, and Mark, I'm sure you have an opinion on this. I would say property management, one of the toughest parts is managing and getting repairs done.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with all sorts of people, all walks of life. And it always seems there's always a letdown.
Here's my favorite one, Brian. My light bulb in my stairwell is my light in my stairwell won't work. Have you changed the bulb in it? Yeah, I changed the bulb. It still won't go on.
Yeah.
You go over there and you change the bulb and it goes on.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do it.
Right.
Okay. Have you ever had those?
Yeah, and I've had air filters too.
Oh yeah.
I say I don't want to change the air filter. I'm like,
that's your responsibility.
it says in the lease that you got to change the air filter.
Most of them never will change they won't do anything with
Most of them don't read leases.
But we try.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
We try.
I don't read leases.
If you teach them though, if you teach the tenants that, hey, if you don't want your AC going out on a 100-degree day on a Sunday and in summer, you should change your air filter. If you don't want your heater going out, and it's -5 in January on a Sunday, you should change your air filter, and that might help it. And not 100%, but it might keeping those coils clean and keeping that machine clean does go. So we try to remind people of that.
Might keep your bill down too.
So, but do you actually fix any of it?
So me personally, no.
Okay.
But back to your question. So, but I started a company to where I have guys working directly for me.
Okay.
That are out in the field and working through, like, then they're reporting to me on, hey, yeah, we painted this property or we've gotten the floors done.
Yeah.
Kind of like your own little handyman.
Yeah. But I'm not going to expand it outside of ABC. We have so much work.
Yeah.
But maybe one day we would. But that's been a journey of like another business.
Vertical integration,
creating another business. Some days I'm like, why did I do this?
Yeah, dude, that's what's up that every morning.
But at the end, and especially when we can't handle all the work, it's like, oh man, like my expectation is high. My expectation is higher than the owner. Some owners don't think that, but it really is. And if my expectation is not getting hit, that's why I started this other company. Sure. It was a side hustle until now we got 2 guys working for me and maybe have 3. And building up that whole process has been, I think I've learned more about building a business than I did when I first did ABC property management, because there's so much more. Because the revenue with, like I called it, so my handyman company is called Make Ready Services.
Okay.
And a simple portion, because you're going to do a make ready when it's hit and moves out. And the make ready side, the income is so different than property management, where it's in property management, you pretty much know, you have a good idea what you're going to make the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be
make ready. You don't know what you're going to find until you get over there, right?
Yeah. You don't know. Yeah. You don't know how long the job's going to take. You don't know if you have enough money to pay for the high material bill, and then you got to go talk to the owner.
You're making my heart rate go up right now. We used to have these 16 townhouses we rented out to students, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, over by the university. Yeah. And I think it was like July 28th, the leases ran out. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then you'd have 3 days to go into these things. And there was always like 8 at a time. And they all needed to be repainted. They're 1,500 plus square feet. They need new carpet. We'd be throwing their refrigerators away and stoves because they don't maintain those, replacing the blinds, replacing all the bulbs. And my wife would be so pissed off for those 3 days, because she would be over there and people are working 24 hours a day. Okay. Yeah. And she's hauling the crap out to the dumpster. And when they take the trash out, they don't even put it in the dumpster. Yeah. They set it all around the outside. One time she had maggots crawling in between her toes. And she was, I was out of town.
I've seen it all.
She was furious. That is so hard. People don't understand turnover time. No, so having some control of your own people is essential.
Yeah, it's essential. You still get the stress.
I know.
You still get the stress. Yeah. Especially in
that's
summer.
Hard.
Summer is probably the hardest to hit, because you do have June, July, or high season. And I tell people this a lot of times, even owners coming in, explaining how the seasons work, because the seasons are so important to understand. Yeah. May, June, July, August, you better be ready. You got to have high turnover. You also better be ready for marketing, because you're going to get all the calls in, capture them then, work through them. Because if you don't...
I'm stressed out about your business. Why the heck?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, man, this is...
And the way that I've looked at, as I
need a beta blocker right now or something to slow my heart rate down. You're you're traumatizing me.
Did you hire a property manager?
I had 3 different setups in my business for all our rentals. We had 2 different property managers, and then some we did on our own. Sure. Actually, we had 4, because we had commercial. Yeah. That was a separate property manager. Sure. And in some cases our own. Yeah. So we had all variants on it. And like I said, a good property manager is invaluable. Yeah. We always had good tenants. We had 100% occupancy. We got paid quickly.
Yep.
No issues. Bad property manager, paid slowly, bad information.
Yeah.
Stuff is being done and we're paying too much for it and it's not done properly.
Yeah.
We bought a 20-unit apartment building and we found out after we bought it that the prior property manager who we inherited with it,
Sure.
in my opinion, was stealing money from the owner. Okay, by having services that they were paying somebody to do that were either were never done or done wrong, and maybe there were kickbacks. I don't know, but we ended up with 2 units that had through the wall split system HVAC systems and mini splits, and 2 of them they had no heat. They only were air conditioning because the property manager didn't make sure that they put split systems in. They just replaced it with an AC unit. So the winter comes and people were like, how do I turn the heat on? We're like, what do you mean? You turn the thermostat, they put heat. They're like, no, it doesn't work. Okay, what do you think of that?
I think of, then you're making my heart race when I think about pipes freezing. Because pipes freezing, you can have the best heater or the worst, but no, it goes back to just like double checking what you're doing and making sure that your guys communicate on what's going on. And that's why I started this other company, is because
you had to have a little control.
And I have a little bit more. I think it's still at times I'm like, man, like we got to do more. I need another me, or I don't know what that looks like. Got to just keep planning out more processes, more procedures to make things better. But it's still tough because then it all relies on workers. Making sure you take care of your workers and work through that. And that's a whole different way of business than what I did with ABC or what I'm doing with ABC property management. So it's just, it's I have to look at it as a fun way to work through. It's all connected, but at the same time, it's you have to check what you're doing. And then if you don't, I've made a few mistakes, and if you don't, you got to own up to what's going on, and then I will lose money, and that's okay. But I will gain it back down the road.
Right.
But if there's something that we did that wasn't done right, well, then I need to own it and then move on, instead of just being like,
that's unusual.
Instead of
pass it on to the owner.
But
it's
you
not
can't
my
do
problem.
that.
That seems to be my life.
We just deduct it from your income this month.
That's right. Yeah, you get a statement.
Yeah, you get that
statement.
They just deduct it. It's totally out of your control.
Yeah, just on certain repairs, and it's not something that I'm like, oh, that's
No, I'm sure you communicate.
But
the owner.
So,
well, that's interesting. I mean, it's these kinds of businesses fascinate me.
Yeah,
because you're not inventing anything new. There's a lot of providers out there that do what you do, but they're all bad, or a lot of them are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is just, to me, is just the greatest. This is why small business is so great.
Yeah.
There's always an opportunity to improve on what's out there.
Absolutely.
And you don't need to sell people on the idea that they need a property manager. I mean, if you got 1 million, when we had like 67 rentals or whatever, plus commercials, we can't do that.
Right.
We need help. Okay? You don't have to convince me we need it. I love businesses where people know they need it, and then the majority of providers are mediocre.
Absolutely. And I had to learn this the hard way at the beginning, because at the beginning I thought I had to sell every Tom, Dick, and Harry that they needed me.
Yeah.
But we're at a point now where we
they know they do.
I need to know who I'm working with, and if we're a good fit. And if we're not a good fit, let's not get into it.
Exactly.
It's just a mess down the road. And I've had to learn that the hard way. But now I know, and when I'm talking to clients or anybody, not just someone that might be a client, it's like, we want to be a good fit. If we're not a good fit, hey, I want to help you. I'll tell you what maybe we should do.
Sure.
But send
you to somebody else.
But forcing the situation is a bad deal.
Well, I think that like starting a business, you have these phases, right? Like in the beginning, you should take everything that you absolutely can.
Every revenue dollar.
Yes. Everything you can.
Yeah.
And then you do start peeling out and getting more defined about who your audience is, what your services are, and you start finding those niches. And, because I've seen some folks that it drives me crazy. Like when you get subcontract, or not subcontractors, but solopreneurs, right? That are maybe doing a specific trade, and they got these, I get paid $150 an hour.
Yeah.
And I need at least 5 hours of guaranteed work, and I need these kind of parameters. And it's like they built this thing,
Right.
like they are Walmart,
Yeah.
but you're not,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
one person, and I'm just
Right.
calling bull crap on the 150 an hour. Like, I mean, what overhead do you have?
Yeah.
So you basically going to work 40, if you
That's
work
how I
20
always did business. So I don't.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
Yeah, you're right, though.
there's-
I hear you.
But it's like you box yourself in,
Yeah.
to begin with, and
Right. And
I
you've
did
limited your opportunities in the process.
I did a really interesting exercise a few weeks ago that fascinated me. I added up. I looked at, because I got mad about a contractor that needed $150 an hour, and I'm like, you have no overhead. It would be nice. I would like to make $150 an hour, right?
No overhead.
Right, exactly. That sounds fantastic. But I did a calculation. I looked at my time at White Spider, and I never made $150 an hour there, right? Yeah. I mean, I was probably paying for a lot of the work that I was doing. But I added it up from that time, like what was my hourly rate after we sold the business, and it was very much worse. And it was over 150.
Obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
it's like,
that way you were building a business.
Yeah, right.
That's entrepreneurship.
right. That's my point.
That's the point.
Like, dude, I would take a job for $20 an hour.
Yeah. Because you got the long game in mind.
Yeah, man.
That's the whole point.
Get the snowball rolling.
Yeah, get the snowball
But
rolling.
see, right there, Eric, that is the difference between small business and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You can do either.
Yeah.
A small business is all about how much money can I get out of this thing this month.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
The entrepreneur is not thinking that. The entrepreneur is like, what is this going to be worth in 5 years?
There you go.
Okay? I'll do all this stuff, make all these sacrifices along the way for the big payday.
I will die for you, client.
The small business owner's like, spend money on marketing? My God, that will reduce my pay this week. I will not. I tried that once and it didn't work.
And I won't be able to do my vacation in June and January and April.
Expensive all.
It's a short-term orientation versus long.
And it's a hamster wheel.
It is. You'll never get off it. As soon as you stop, the whole thing ends. The party crashes.
And then
It's over.
It doesn't work.
Done. This week.
You're talking about what you're worth, and that's recent. I've had to kind of digest all that because I've recently hired an office manager, and I'm like, okay, what's that worth? Well, it's worth a lot.
Yeah.
Because I can't be in every little admin detail, and now I'm working faster. We're working better, and what is it? I think it's the book. Buy Back Your Time.
Ooh.
And I think that's the book. I might be saying it wrong, but working through that process has been like, okay, what are you worth and what are your people worth, and then making sure you build a good team around there. And that's been something that even like a year ago I didn't really fathom, but now it's like, okay, what am I building to make sure that we move the right way?
Right. You're thinking like an entrepreneur. You've got to make these investments. And
I guess there's a transition. I don't know when I hit that transition, but there is one. Some people never hit it. You can drive down Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, and see. But
well, I'm glad you brought that up, though, because when you think about it, property management is a recurring revenue business, right?
Yeah.
What are those businesses worth? What do they trade at? Have you looked into that?
3, multiple of 3.
EBIT or revenue?
Revenue. Well, across the country, I've seen revenue, and then I've also seen EBIT as well. So,
okay. I would think 3 times revenue would be totally possible with that recurring revenue stream.
It seems that
depending on how well you're keeping your clients.
I follow people across the country, and some of those they seem to move pretty quick. It seems like a lot of them move without even hitting a business broker or any knowing about it. It's Eric's been bothering me for 5 years that he wants to buy my company, and I'm ready to finally kick back and. Okay.
Has he been?
No, but
Wouldn't surprise me. Guy seems like he's buying everything.
In general, I hear stories. I hear more stories like that than if I go on the hunt to try to find one to buy. It's like I got to go door knocking every property manager, and I get door knocked all the time by property managers.
Are there private equity firms out there that are consolidating these?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, I would think there would be.
I know there's a lot of PE firms that are buying properties, so they have to be buying.
Well, it's a steady
business, too.
Yeah,
it's pretty steady overall. You
right.
forecast what you're doing. You put policies, procedures in place.
Right.
And it should run well.
Yeah.
Now, if you add more, you got to build more. But that's what I got to learn quickly, working with some mentors across the country and locally, is how to build it the right way. And I got to learn really well from the people at Lindsay, they were great teaching me how that worked.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsay's got, what, 40,000 plus units out there?
Lord, do they
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, 40,000 plus.
Yeah.
All right. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They absolutely, I mean, people are always critical of Lindsay.
Well, they're so big because if the bigger the property manager, the more problems and critics you're going to have.
It's amazing what they do. And I will say one thing about Lindsay, too. Their property landscaping is always better maintained than anybody else's. I always see that. It's got to be because of the golf course sort of background of Lindsay.
Well, they probably realize that it's a big selling point.
It is.
It's a big property valuation. I mean, like curb appeal is a big deal. Like if you're shopping for a house to rent,
I'm telling you.
or anything, and it looks nice.
I go over there to Pinnacle, which is our nicest mall, for those of you who don't know. And you go by Dillard's, and the shrubs are so freaking giant and overgrown. They stick out into the sidewalk like 3 feet. It's like I got to walk into the road. And I can't believe that somebody doesn't go, cut these damn things down. Because if I was managing that and I had Dillard's, I would go over there and go, this is crazy.
But
how did this get this overgrown? You know,
I wish you did own it.
and that's the
I'm lobbying for you to own it.
That's the nicest mall we have, and the landscaping is not maintained.
somebody's
What is
probably
that?
pushing that property manager to say, keep costs low no matter what, because no matter what, keep them low. But the same thing, you drive by these Walgreens that are going on, and you can see the ones that, man, no wonder these are closing down. They're on corner lots, major corner lots throughout all of this area.
Sure, they always go
High traffic on both lanes or both roads, and looks like they haven't mowed the grass in 3 weeks. And so you judge a lot by the character of landscaping. And I've learned that too with multifamily. With people in multifamily typically don't keep things clean and nice, but if you keep them clean and nice, then you have more people coming in.
So true.
And it's like, holy, now your vacancy rate will stay, your occupancy rate will stay high, and which is what you want. And
It's an investment. Your value is going to stay high.
You're able to get them in quick instead of having to go and show the property 10 times. Then you're wasting more time. Then you're losing money. Really.
It's
You're
so
showing
true.
The property 10 times and working through that. So then it's been a marriage of working with how we kind of get that all together. Because it's not, I can't just go to Mr. Owner and say, hey, let's spend top dollar landscaping and let's make it happen. But if we teach them and walk through like, hey, here's an ROI that we can get to, but we got to do this, this, and this. We can take your rents from $500 a unit to $1,000. Then now we're talking. Then it's going to raise your value. It's going to raise morale. You're going to maybe get better tenants.
That's my theory always was you want to be in the top 10 or 15% price wise for whatever you have. So that means you got to maintain it better than anybody else. But then you get a better tenant who's more likely, they recognize that they're going to pay the premium. They're more likely to pay because they're, quote, a better tenant. They're less likely to destroy your place. All that filters through the whole thing. So I always wanted to be expensive.
No, it makes sense.
You know,
And you
but
keep your tenants.
But like you said, I mean, you have to be really on top of the properties to do that.
Go look at it, not just.
Exactly, but that's where I can't look at it if I'm not doing this in my hometown. So I need somebody like you who's going to go over there and go, you know what, you really need to do X, Y, and Z.
For sure. And then that's why we created this. We have this
inspection.
All these, I feel like someone said they just joined my team. Like, well, we have a lot of tools. And we do have a lot of tools compared to a year ago. And one of the tools that I'm really fond of is this inspection report. I can pull my phone out and make an inspection report on a small 1-bedroom home, or I can just pull it out and make it on a 5,000 square foot, mansion. Which we have both. And then I can share. I can share it to the owner so they understand. Then I can share it to the maintenance guy who he's like, oh, okay, he can digest what's going on.
It's documented what needs to be done.
Pictures of it?
Oh yeah, pictures of it.
Yeah, that's great.
And
wow,
that goes a long way. I used to
bet
do video,
that does.
And video's okay, but
it's harder.
It's hard to keep up with. Then I was trying to save it, and then I was losing my links and inspections, and it stays there on the file. So we get the report from the inspection report, we save it, and then in 2 years, hey, how'd the property look when that person moved out or when they moved in? Oh, here we go. And then we get to use tenant like inspections as well. We can say, hey, Mr. Mark, please fill out the inspection report. Now, it's not all, they can hide stuff, but you can also get at least an idea of what it looks like. So that's one of the things that I've had to plug into the business to make sure that, okay, I can't do it all, but we can have tools and people to make sure that we take care of things.
Man, in today's time too, it's insane the amount of new tools that are coming to the market. I mean, continuously, it's overwhelming, you know. But I think that you have to be able to continuously adapt to that and involve with whatever's going on. Because if you don't, you get you can get knocked back. I mean, saving yourself an hour, you know, on every single unit that you're going to, or 15 minutes, like that pressure to continuously innovate that technology is imperative.
I'm glad you brought up the tools thing, because in property management in particular, there really have been some great advances.
There has.
So someone can apply online, you can check their credit, you can vet them out that way. You can collect their rent electronically. Boy, is that ever better than chasing them for checks, okay? That's a huge deal. And then you can document all their complaints and then how long it takes you to respond.
KPIs.
Yeah, I mean, I think all those tools are very affordable now. What do you use for that?
I use Yardi.
Okay.
And they're one of the bigger property management tools out there. I chose Yardi because I really like commercial. So Yardi, when I first started, I had some commercial clients at the beginning, and allowed me to plug in there with using, like, working through commercial leases and all those things. But so I use Yardi for all my tenant portal, owner portal.
Right.
And every morning that's what I log into and see. It's how we pay our vendors, it's how we pay ourselves.
That's fantastic.
And keep track of everything. There's a lot of tools, and some are better than others, and I've been learning more about other ones. And sometimes, I get upset with Yardi or others, like, man, I'm going to switch. Well, that's a nightmare.
It's mission critical. You can't pull the plug.
That's the reason for the 8 to 10x multiple is that it's so goddamn sticky.
It's really,
you can't unhook.
You cannot unhook so painful.
I love that. I love businesses like
so do
that.
the investors,
Love that.
right? They love that stuff, right?
We got you now.
I'm mad at Yardi. I'm like, man, well, I just got to figure out how to get
There's no way I'm going to change it.
But you know, the value, back to your kind of recurring thing, like if you're using really good tools that are providing substantial value, time savings, and you apply that to your clients, you become sticky along with those tools. You see what I'm saying?
Do. Yes. And now, my tenants are ingrained in them, my owners are ingrained in them.
They're used to that.
Because like if I had Brian as my property manager and I got mad at him and I want to fire him,
right?
And I talked to another property manager. I mean, one of my and I really like this inspection reporting.
Sure, exactly.
Right? And I'm talking to you, and I'm like, so how do I get my inspection reports? Oh, well, I mean, I'll get that to you once every 3 months. How do you send it to me? Well, I'll have to meet with you, and I'm like, okay, good to talk to you. Like, hey, Brian, listen, man, I'm gonna stick with Brian because of that convenience.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, no touch.
Why aren't we in the property management business?
I don't know. Maybe we should
let's get rid of all this other crap that doesn't make money.
We're going to call it CBA, property management.
What's that?
The opposite of ABC.
So
love it. Let's call it AABC. Then we're ahead of them.
I called my ABC because, one, it's simple, and I didn't want to put my name on it.
Yeah.
And then my wife's name is Erin, and my name is Brian Clark. So I was like,
that's sweet.
Isn't that nice?
But it's simple.
So sweet.
Instead of like Clark Real Estate. Oh, who's Clark? Where's he at? I don't know where Clark's at.
Well, there's other Clarks around here too in this town. Yeah.
Well, no, but it also allows you to, that's one thing is like having a business name that, like I've always been a believer that I've never put my name on a business, right? Because you create that so that the entity becomes something other than you. You're just a part of it, and you can sell a daggum thing without it having.
That's such a great point. I mean, like Mark Zweig Inc., our building and development company, we never even tried to sell it. It was too tied to me. We had assets. We had assets, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's a really good point.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome. So what are your plans ultimately for this business? Do you plan on ramping up to a certain point and exiting? You have other vertical integration?
My plan has been, when I started, was, let's just keep this and roll it and keep it keep it going for like
indefinitely,
generations or whatever. But that's changing. Especially with some of the stresses that I've had, and
life's too short.
And I say, well, I own I've been telling myself, or I told this myself last year. I'm in this business because I get to spend more time with my family.
Yeah, no,
not true.
Not really.
I'm not.
They're here in the room with me, but I'm on the phone.
Yeah, my brain is over here. I'm waking up at 3 a.m. Got this going on. So
it's the best time.
Boy, we all understand that.
I don't have a direct. Right now, it's like keep growing it. I think right now it's like massaging it, like making sure that we get it to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be. There's going to be some things that I got to decide which way we want to go. Because right now it's like commercial, residential. That's rolling. Residential is easier to get. Commercial is more relationships driven. I enjoy commercial, but I can't do everything. And so it's changing as we speak. I mean, I think it's like, I think I want to be in real estate. I want to be in property management. But besides that, I don't have maybe I'd sell it one day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that, as long as your key point's growing it, right? You just keep growing and growing.
Right. Whatever you do, whether you keep it or sell it, the same things apply, right?
Yeah. If you just grow it, you have options.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's more work and it might become more intense, but you should be.
Or it may not be more work. I mean, if you get because you can afford to get the right people.
Yeah.
And then it takes some of the stuff off your plate.
Well, you're going to have to grow with it as the business owner, entrepreneur, right? And I mean, that can be a little bit intimidating, but I mean, like, it usually doesn't, it usually, benefits in some way or another.
I tend to, just like the make ready business that I created, my brain keeps going that way of like, okay, I have ABC, I have make ready. I'm like, well, what else can I build? And I, all kinds of things pop in my head. And I didn't have that mentality or that entrepreneur spirit, I would say, until a couple of years ago, because I was building this one. I didn't think, oh, I'm going to create ABC and then I'm going to do all these things. No, I just thought real estate, stick with it. But now it's like, I have all these experiences from my past, even from like being a teller at a bank and being a fly fishing guide and all these things of years ago. It's like, so my brain goes more towards, well, what can I build next? Or what can I build?
You're thinking like an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I love it. It's me excited as hell.
You've made the transition.
Congratulations. Welcome to hell.
I get a badge. Yeah.
That's like
sorry.
That's like my wife's ex-husband, who's a really good friend.
Yeah.
Both of ours. When we got married, I don't know if I told you about the text he sent me. He goes, I don't know whether to congratulate you or send you my condolences.
That's awesome.
But then he also said in all caps, Gabby is not my dog! Exclamation point. Exclamation point, exclamation point. Because he didn't want the dog. But yeah, it's kind of like that. Welcome to the world of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And there's pros and cons associated with it.
There is.
But the opportunities that you've created for yourself now and the lack of dependence on your employer with all these different clients, you can get fired by somebody and Brian's still in business.
Yeah.
Okay, if you get fired by Walmart, though, you're out.
Yeah, you're out of business.
You're on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's valuable, isn't it?
It is. At the same time, my wife's like, well, all my owners are my employer.
Sure.
So some are worth more than others.
Yep.
And I take all of them serious. So it's like, man, when I have a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So the pendulum swings both ways.
That's true. I can't deny.
Man, this owner calls me and I'm like, okay, this is important. Or this client, and I'm an owner. So it works back and forth. I think it's funny you ask that question because I'm still working through that. It's like right now it's just focused on where's the next opportunity and working through how to get there. And it might be all through this business for 10 years or it might not be for much longer.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I think that like you starting this, you had some comfort because one smart thing you did, and I encourage like my girls, like they're talking about getting jobs in the summer or whatever between school. I'm like, get something you're passionate, interested in learning.
Amen. Yes.
Just like you did with Lindsay, okay, you're interested in real estate, so you'll work for a real estate company
and stay in it.
And stay in it. Keep learning that and
get into the industry you want early.
Yeah.
Ready to level up your show? At podcastvideos.com, we offer industry-leading recording and expert marketing to help your show reach more listeners. From creation to distribution, we've got you covered. Visit podcastvideos.com and elevate your podcast today.
Everybody asks me that, I teach students. They're generally seniors. Most of them don't know what they want to do. Like, what's your best advice? I tell them these two things. A, decide what industry you want to go into and take any job in it.
Yeah.
B, decide where you want to live and go there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, it's true.
Because then you're building.
Yeah,
you're building your network and you're building your knowledge of the industry.
Yeah, and don't get a job where you're chilling. You're chilling.
Chilling.
Yeah, chilling during the summer. Like I get a chilling.
I don't even know.
Chilling.
Chilling. Okay.
Come on, man.
I couldn't understand what you were saying.
When you're just chilling out, like you think about, okay, I'm gonna only do 2 hours. I'm gonna be able to do this.
Forget that.
Like that. Those days are over, man.
You've limited yourself too much.
100%. And then, but you got this. You got interested. You found out that you're actually enjoying it. You go work for Walmart. You take that, apply to it, and then you had the confidence to say, you know what, I can do this. Like I have the tools, the knowledge, I have the baseline. And then you get into it, but then this business has then exposed you to even all kinds of other things, right? Like you just start popping out the ideas, you're getting excited. That is a good life, my friend. Being excited about what the hell you're doing.
Amen.
That's good stuff. That's why entrepreneurship rocks and rolls.
Yeah, I'm still excited.
You're not sitting in a cubicle, dreading what you're doing, feeling like you're stuck,
waiting
like
for the weekend, right?
Waiting for the weekend.
Working for the weekend.
Yeah, man. And like you don't have to do that. And we've talked about this before, but I think the big problem is that we think that that's what work is when it's actually only been like that for about 100 years. Before that, you did what you were good at doing. Yeah. In most cases.
And usually you like what you're good at too. You ever notice that?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%, because you feel like you're contributing.
Sure.
Which is what everybody wants to do.
For sure. If your students, like that's where hiring too, people, I've had successes and failures of hiring interns, and the ones that are successes, they have a passion. They don't know anything about real estate, but they have a passion for it. If you have passion, you got to feed it. And if you don't, then go find your passion.
I think too, though, that, we've hit on something that's really critical. There's a difference in having a passion for a discipline versus having a passion for an industry. Yeah. To me, the industry passion is better because you
navigate it, man.
Yeah, you can navigate. You can move within it. If you're though all about the discipline, like I love IT or I love accounting, I can do accounting for anyone. You will not have the same career trajectory.
That's true.
Because you've sort of defined what your role is. Yeah. Instead of when you focus on the industry.
Like if you like accounting or finance, but I want to do retail.
Right.
Now
focus on retail. Now you know
retail accounting.
Yeah, you've got your entry point into retail, but learn the retail industry. Maybe you can go beyond that.
Yeah, that's good.
Hell
yeah.
Yes. Well, this has been a fun conversation.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Brian, congrats on everything, brother. I mean, encouraging to hear your story. I'm sure people that are listening will be encouraged too, because, what I like about this, I know when you were coming on, I was talking to Mark, I mean, that, a few years into it, it's neat to, for folks to hear that, because there's a lot of folks out there that listen to us that are toying with the idea.
Yes.
Right. And I mean, if you've been I love your story about Walmart, 2 years as an associate buyer, which I think is fantastic.
Buyer is like a business
owner. If I could rewind and do something, I would absolutely 100% go choose to be a buyer at Walmart.
I get it too. If you could get in, I mean, you've got to be good.
Yeah. No, for sure. But
I'm with
what you learn in that. Yeah. I mean, like I've met some of the most incredible people, and every buyer that I've ever
always the best
met from Walmart is like, there's something about their work ethic, their mindset. It's just like, man, they're just good. They just know something that most other people don't know.
It's a you can't describe it until you're until you're there. It's I just keep calling it retail boot camp, and I will forever. I mean, it taught me more than I knew that I could learn and knew that I could do.
And I would say it's also about the way the company that specifically Walmart buyers, right? Because of how the company was built upon that.
Yeah.
How that, those buyers are like, they're the heartbeat of that organization. Yeah. And everything that they do is significant to the greater good of that organization. It's just a fantastic, I mean, what a privilege. You know, like I was talking to my middle girls, like she pulled up last night with her friend, and I walked out there because they pulled up to the front, she pulled up to the front door, had her headlights beaming into my house. And
Did she run over like sprinkler heads?
I mean, dude, it was like she basically almost parked on the bush, in front of the front door. And I'm like, who the hell? I didn't know who it was. And I'm walking out there like a
thought it was like aliens or
silverback.
something. Did you?
I did.
Did you have like your shotgun and ready to go? My dad would greet me like that at the top of the stairs when I was a kid. Like 2 a.m. He's completely naked. He's got his double barrel L.C. Smith. Halt! Who goes there? You know,
No, he didn't.
Oh, he did. I
To you?
do not.
You'd walk in at
Absolutely.
what time was this?
Like 2 a.m.
2 a.m. after hanging out?
Yeah.
You're out there.
So you wanted to sneak in or what?
No, I didn't have to sneak in. I didn't ask for permission.
Did he say halt?
Yes.
Halt.
Who goes there?
Identify yourself.
That's great.
Identify. But anyway, I was going up there, and she was just out there with her friend, and she was talking about if she's going to go to the U of A, if she's going to go to Ole Miss, you know, and pros and cons. I was like, y'all don't understand where you live and the college that you're talking about.
so true.
It's such a good college. And the Sam Walton College of Business is such a fantastic direction.
We just keep getting better and better on our rankings, and the offerings get broader and broader.
The people you meet here.
I know.
The network is strong.
People don't realize that.
It's like they don't. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I just got back last weekend. I was in Southern Illinois for my alma mater.
SIU Salukis, baby.
That's right. And, that's where your
my folks
dad
went.
came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them, yeah.
And so, but Carbondale has declined. It's gone the other way. And it's a shame, but the reason is where they are. They are too cut off from industry. The industry we were close to when I went there in the 70s was coal mining.
Yeah.
Needless to say, that's not gone up. Okay?
Yeah.
We are here in the heartbeat of America with Fortune #1 and everything that comes off of that.
Yep.
And you're so right. I mean, you want to be here, you want to be in Mississippi. I'm sorry. I don't want to run down Mississippi, but I mean, there's just going to be more opportunities here.
Yeah, it is.
As a place to start to establish yourself.
Plus, it's a hell of a lot more convenient.
Yeah.
You save a lot of money.
The weather's better.
The weather's better.
God, it's humid down
There's creeks with rocks in them instead of mud. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sorry.
There's not like cotton drifting across the road that looks like litter.
Right.
Okay.
It's just like, I'm sorry.
I know.
Don't
Smart up, girl.
Don't tell everybody though.
Well, no, why not? You would like that because that means we're
I'm
freaking
kidding.
properties for your empire.
It's funny because I go to these conferences and they look at me like, "You're from Arkansas?"
Yeah, right.
It's like, well, you don't seem like a hillbilly. You've got shoes on and all your teeth.
Yeah.
Wow. I am. Don't you
And I
think
still
that?
get it.
I get it too.
And I go to these conferences and I meet someone new and they're like, "Okay, yeah," and like, "Yeah, don't come here, thanks." Up your business in California. Thank you.
It's so true that stereotype is just awful.
I love the stereotype.
It's like you're sneaky.
I
that
like
way.
talking a deeper country drawl when I'm talking
I'll
to
bet
people
you do.
outside the area because then I can sneak around.
Yeah. They don't see you coming.
They don't see me coming like a shadow, a phantom, a ninja.
Hey, Brian, where'd you grow up?
Springdale.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a Springdale kid, and that's kind of I started my business, and we found a small little office down in Fayetteville, and then I had the opportunity to move to Springdale, and it's been great. Now I get to kind of watch what's going on.
Springdale's awesome.
Springdale's growing.
I can walk to downtown Emma.
Nice. Okay.
I'm getting involved in the chamber really well, and trying to really put my roots in Springdale. There's a lot of areas you can put your roots.
Eric's got some properties down there.
I know he does. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't talk to you about that
Yeah,
one.
I know which property it is.
Okay, well, let's chat about
I saw it myself the other day. Downtown Springdale is so cool. We have the greatest time when we go down there.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's just amazing. It's so
It's awesome.
talk about a transformation.
Give it 2 more years.
Yeah,
it's going to be even more.
It just keeps getting better.
That park
and
they
better.
put down there, the George Luther Park, it's called. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's right behind my property.
Yep, and all those restaurants and everything, and the whole streetscape improvements. It's just all of it.
Except for my property, it's not added to the value yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. But we're going to fix that, right?
Yeah, and you got some funny neighbors, but that's okay. So,
I do.
but
I love
like
them, though.
on Springdale, last thing about Springdale is like, I went down there 2 weeks ago. My buddy said, hey, you want to go have dinner? I said, sure, let's go to downtown Springdale to have Mexican food. And then we walk out, we're done, and there's a crick race going on, and they're racing bikes. Like, well, this is kind of cool. You didn't see this like 5 years ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in high school, my parents were like, don't
go downtown.
Don't go downtown.
Yeah, don't go downtown.
Go down there. And
Yeah.
now it's like, holy smokes, you can walk down there and
I
you
know.
can, like actually
It's so-
have something going on, and there's lighting, and it's nice, and there's going to be even more in a couple of years when they build a hotel, and then more businesses coming in.
More apartments, higher end
More
apartments
as
are going
well.
in.
So,
It's going to be fantastic.
Across the street from a building.
Yeah.
yeah.
Good investment.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping my weeds down. I went
I mean,
and sprayed and weed eated the other day.
Like 20 years ago, I could have bought those buildings for like $10,000. I mean, that's when we all should have bought that stuff.
Now they're so
But it's still, it's got so much potential.
it's the next hidden gem in this area. I think
It is.
Everybody knows that Bentonville. Fable's been there. Rogers is where and sitting in the middle of it.
Rogers downtown too, I think is
Rogers
great.
is
It's got a
downtown as
lot
well.
of potential.
But it's just great to see. I mean, it's this whole area. That's why there's like I've heard. Okay, Springdale's going to get to where it needs to be, and then
Right.
something else is going to pop up.
You know what? I got something to admit.
What's that?
I like the roundabouts in Rogers now.
Oh my gosh.
I do. It actually helps with traffic.
Well, actually, I hear what you're saying. I mean, at least they're properly designed.
Yeah.
Some of the ones we have in Fayetteville are so small that you cannot drive a normal like F-150 around the damn thing. I mean, it's like they've got to be designed properly.
Yeah, they do.
Here, they're big enough that you can actually use it like it's intended.
I love it. And there's like 7 roundabouts.
Oh, there's so many
between
of them.
here in my house. I'm able to not.
Like I get dizzy. I mean, I'll never forget. I had the very first GPS system factory available in a 1997 BMW 740. Okay. When I got it, it didn't have any manuals or anything on how to operate it.
Yeah.
But anyway, eventually, after like a couple weeks, we figured out how to use it. We were in Cambridge and in Massachusetts, we got on this traffic circle. It couldn't keep up. So it just kept us driving around and around and around. Finally, we're like, stop the car if you can. Okay.
Right.
Let this thing figure out where the hell we're going.
Just had you this.
It just had us stuck in a perpetual circle. We just, after like 5 times, we're like, will you please? I mean, it could not keep up because of the circle.
The service. They didn't have 5G back then.
No, they didn't. I don't know what it was.
Sounds like some of the smart cars these days, though. So, the cars are so smart these days. It's it's a whole nother animal. But
Well, this has been a lot of fun.
It has been. Thanks, Brian, for your time. Congratulations to you, man.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. We appreciate your comment. And for those of you who would like to talk to Brian, what is your web address?
ABC. My website's abc-manager.com. That's the simplest way to
All right.
know who we are.
abc-manager.com is the way to reach Brian Clark.
That's it.
And this has been a great show.
Yeah, that's it.
And I will see you all, or we will be back with you.
What was that? I will see. Like, am I out?
Well, I was talking to you guys here.
I felt like you were talking to the audience.
God.
So, Mark, you starting your own big talk about small?
No, I couldn't possibly do that without you. I got to have you here.
Thank you.
So, no, it's been great. And we look forward to hearing more about your success.
Thank you.
And we look forward to being together again next week.
Yes. Thank you.
And we look forward to putting out another episode of Big Talk About Small Business.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Big Talk About Small Business. If you have any questions or ideas for upcoming shows, be sure to head over to our website, www.bigtalkaboutsmallbusiness.com, and click on the Ask the Host button for the chance to have your questions answered on the show. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn at Big Talk About Small Business. And be sure to head over to our website to read articles, browse episodes, and ask questions about upcoming shows.